So a video has been discovered on Daily Caller. They posted it. Now they didn't do it after Charlottesville. They did it before Charlottesville, to be fair. So they were advocating for murder of protesters earlier, not after. I'm just being fair. And it's a compilation video that I'm going to show you in a second of people running over protesters. And this was in January of 2017. So Trump is going to take charge, and they're showing you basically a how-to manual for how to run over and kill protesters that would protest Trump. And just to be clear, in the article they explain that it is, quote, cars plowing through protesters. And it says, quote, study the technique. It may prove useful in the next 4 years. So let's stay right there. Now I want to bring in the video. This is a compilation they put together.
It's graphic, so.
Yeah, sorry, warning. So it's longer on their website, but it's basically celebrating if anybody's protesting Trump, this is what you do to them. So that is not only on the Daily Caller, it's also on Fox Nation. I'm sorry, not Daily Wire, Daily Caller, that's very important, okay? Daily Caller is run by Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, also top host on Fox News, also featured on Fox Nation. When I saw this article first on Mediaite, they still had not taken down the video or the article.
Yep.
Still to this day. And by the way, it's not that, hey, they forgot to take it down, that they forgot that they gave a how-to manual on murder people earlier. And after Charlottesville, they should have enough sense to take it down. Remember, several Muslim radicals already did that same thing.
Tactic, yes.
In Europe, they did it over and over again, and the Daily Caller still left it up. Terrorists by another name. So they're like, oh, well, we hate it when Muslim radicals do it, but when white supremacist radicals do it, we'll show them how. They literally showed them how. There's more quotes from the video. They said, if you're easily triggered, stop watching now. Triggered by what? Murder? And by the way, they didn't even let you do that. And then immediately they show more left-wing people being killed by cars and go, ha, too late in the video, okay? And I want to remind you guys, remember, there was Republican legislators that tried to pass bills in the real world to run over protesters. I'm going to quote the Los Angeles Times for you from back in February of this bill. It was a bill proposed in North Dakota. The bill still in committee would make it, at the time was still in committee, would make it legal for drivers to run over protesters who are standing in a roadway, clearing drivers of any liability as long as their action was unintentional. So now that one was in the roadway and you had to have unintentionally murdered them, okay? But the guy who proposed the bill said, well, look, if they're standing in a roadway, they're pretty much terrorists. And he said you should try to slow down first. Now, luckily that did not pass North Dakota, but it was close.
It was, and look, I don't agree with people blocking the highways, blocking the roads. That is not the proper way to protest. And when I say proper, I mean, you gotta keep the roads clear for emergency vehicles. It could be a nightmare if you're blocking, okay? But with that said, for people who do happen to protest in a way that blocks the streets, there is no justification for running them over under any circumstance. And if you sit there and criticize the behavior of radical Islamic terrorists, which I completely understand, you should, right? You can't turn around and make excuses for others who mow down individuals who are protesting in a way that you don't like. Murder is unacceptable in any and all circumstances, regardless of the demographic who's carrying out the murder, okay? And that's the thing. This is what I have finally come to the conclusion with. We keep fighting fairly, right? We fight fair. We want to be accountable when we're wrong. We want to make sure that we represent both sides fairly. We don't want to lie. We don't want to throw around propaganda. We don't want to generalize about entire groups of people. And we keep having these discussions as if the other side is interested in having a fair debate about it. They're not interested in a fair debate. They're not interested in principled political positions or ideology. They're hateful, right? And so we keep trying to reason with them and negotiate with them, and I'm done negotiating, okay? They're bad people. They don't actually care about terrorism, because if they genuinely cared about terrorism, they would take, the issue of white supremacy in America a little more seriously, but they don't.
So let me add two quick things to that. One is, now I understand why they made the insane charges that they did and why they keep saying it, because for the millionth time in a row, it's projection. So they're like, oh, are you gonna call out Muslim radicals who run people over? Of course we are. Who the hell, what monster would be in favor of that? So I'm a guy who left Islam. They'd kill me first. Okay, I can't stand Muslim radicals. I hate Muslim radicals. I don't want them killing anybody. That's so obvious, but why would they even make that charge? Because in their mind, look at the video they put up. They think, well, we wouldn't condemn it if it happened on our side, we'd even encourage it. So they must think like we do. It's great if it happens, quote unquote, on our side. And in their side, in their view of the world is Christians, whites, right-wingers, whatever, that's us. Right or wrong, fundamentalists or not fundamentalists. And so you guys must think your side is black people, Latinos, Muslims, or whatever. No, our side is reasonable people, the people of America, the civilians, etc. Your side is fundamentalists.
Yeah, their side is they have the brains of cavemen, right? Like, all colored people, all Mexicans bad, all Muslims bad, anyone who's not white bad, right? They're unable to differentiate between bad people in a community and good people in a community, okay? There are terrible white people and there are also great white people. There are terrible Muslims and great Muslims. There are terrible Armenians and great Armenians. Every community has terrible people in them, but they like black and white. They want every community to be portrayed as terrible, violent, savage. But when it comes to their people, right? When it comes to the white community, oh no, they're always right. They can literally run people over because they disagree with their political ideology, and that's okay. Murdering people with a different political view is okay.
Okay, so last piece of wonderful hypocrisy for the right wing. They claim the left does identity politics. They just did a march for white nationalists. Their whole movement is about white nationalism. That is by definition identity politics. No. Yeah, we get to do identity politics, but if you guys say black people should have the same rights or gay people should have the same rights, not more rights, same rights, how dare you do identity politics? You want to have everybody equal. No, you're the one doing identity politics. And then freedom of speech, the #1 issue they claim to have. Why won't people let people speak? Why won't the colleges let people speak? Oh, you're doing a counter protest of Nazis and fascists? Well, you had it coming. Where's your freedom of speech? Well, I thought you guys were big freedom of speech advocates. But when it's a protester you don't like, sorry. And by the way, if you're a so-called moderate right-winger, let me flip the argument on you. You have a responsibility to call out the fundamentalists and radicals in your ranks. So if you're not out there writing blog posts, doing videos, doing everything you can to condemn those right-wingers in Charlottesville, to condemn the white nationalists, to condemn the Daily Caller, to condemn Fox Nation, to condemn Tucker Carlson. If you're not calling them out, you're just as guilty as they are. That's your logic, not mine, okay? Live by your own logic. So if you're not doing it right now, you're guilty forever. Support independent media. Come join us at the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.